what I believe is clearly the most important software company in America, and therefore in the world in terms of our impact, simply to make money and trying to call the AI revolution into question, where we have this anomalous numbers, 114, rule of 40, et cetera. It just is super triggering because these people, they could pick on any company in the world. They have to pick on the one that actually helps people, that actually has made money for the average person, that is actually supporting our warfighters. Why do they have to go after us? And I'll tell you what, though, it's crazy motivating, because I'll tell you why the short sellers are constantly getting screwed by Palantir. Because every time they short us, we just are like tripling down on getting the better numbers, and part, honestly, to make them poorer.
All right, folks, welcome back to Straight Fire Politics, where we cut through the noise, the utter absurdity of modern politics and business today. We're diving headfirst into the world of tech giants. We're diving headfirst into the world of tech titans and market manipulation, specifically Planeteer's Alex Karp and the legendary Michael Burry. This clip is a masterclass in corporate panic and self-delusion, and trust me, you won't want to miss a single sweaty second of it. Let's roll the tape and get triggered.
Because in November, Burry announced that he had shorted the stocks of both those companies. And if you're not familiar with shorting, all you need to know is that Burry will make money if the value of the stock for these companies drops by 2027. In other words, Burry is betting that both companies will lose steam or fail outright. Now, let's watch more of Alex Karp absolutely raging out about this for fun, and then I'll give you more details in regard to Burry's reasoning.
When I hear short sellers attacking what I believe is clearly the most important software company in America, and therefore in the world in terms of our impact, simply to make money and trying to call the AI revolution into question, where we have this anomalous numbers, 114, rule of 40, et cetera. It just is super triggering because these people, they could pick on any company in the world. They have to pick on the one that actually helps people, that actually has made money for the average person, that is actually supporting our warfighters. Why do they have to go after us?
Whoa, hold on a second. Did we just hear a multi-million-dollar tech CEO whose company profited off of government contracts whine about being triggered by short sellers? Give me a break. This isn't some high school drama club, Karp. This is the free market. And we help people argument? Seriously? You're helping warfighters by selling surveillance tech? That's a business, not a charity? It's like a fast food chain saying they're helping people by feeding them. Buddy, when you put your company on the stock market, you opened yourself up to scrutiny. If you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. The market isn't a safe place, and frankly, your tears are telling us what Burry already knows. You're sweating.
And I'll tell you what, though, it's crazy motivating, because I'll tell you why the short sellers are constantly getting screwed by Palantir. Because every time they short us, we just are like tripling down on getting the better numbers, and part, honestly, to make them poorer.
So Karp seems very stressed out, and if you're watching Landman, my only hope is that he's just as stressed out as Monty is or was. And if you get that reference, you get what I mean. But nonetheless, NVIDIA has also tried to push back against Burry's argument, saying, following Burry's series of social media posts, arguing that the artificial intelligence investment boom is replaying the dot-com bubble from the 1990s. NVIDIA quietly circulated a private memo to analysts that explicitly name-checked Burry to push back on many of his claims. For his part, Burry argues that massive CapEx plans, extended depreciation schedules, and soaring valuations as evidence the markets are again mistaking a supply boom for durable demand. Now, I am totally okay with admitting I'm a moron and I don't know what that means. But Cenk, I feel like you might know what that means. Like, what does massive CapEx plans mean?
Yeah, so it's not about being smart or stupid. It's about whether you just know these terms or not. So look, none of that is important. So X is expenses and so cap is for capital. There's a lot to explain in the business world, et cetera. Bottom line is, what Burry is saying is it's overvalued. He's not making a value judgment on it in terms of morals. He's making a value judgment in terms of finances. He's saying that there's a big boom in supply. So Palantir is producing a lot of things. NVIDIA is producing a lot of things. But that doesn't mean that there's going to be demand for those. If there is demand down the road, then okay, then it makes sense and maybe their valuations are right. But he's saying that there's not going to be as much demand as they think there's going to be. That's a huge problem. Then he gets into the internal workings of their finances and their leverage and their debt and their capex, et cetera. He sees problems there as well. But his number one issue, and what I think he's most right about, is there's a craze right now where people are buying Nvidia, especially more so than Palantir, but Palantir as well, in an irrational way. And you know it's irrational. You know that we're near the peak of the bubble when two things happen. One is when people tell you that a stock can't go down. And I've now been hearing many times, oh, Nvidia can't go down. It's a new kind of market. That means the bubble's on the edge of bursting, okay? Literally the same exact thing I heard about the housing market back in 2008. And the dot-com bubble back in 2008. No, this is a new market, Cenk. You don't understand. This doesn't go up and down anymore. It just goes up. Sure, brother. I've seen this movie before. The second way you know that the bubble's about to burst is when Michael Burry starts shorting it. Okay, so now you can tell that I'm right. How can you tell? By the CEO of Palantir Corp that we just showed you, by his reaction. Because he's a cold, sweaty mess.
Exactly. The telltale sign of a crumbling house of cards isn't always the balance sheet. Sometimes it's the CEO's face when he realizes the gig is up. I've never seen an executive act like this on television. That's an understatement. This isn't whether Palantir is a good company or not. It's about whether its valuation makes sense in the real world. Michael Burry isn't a moral crusader. He's a numbers guy. And when he smells a bubble, he goes for the jugular. Karp's reaction isn't just unprofessional. It's a giant flashing neon sign screaming overhauled. It's like watching a kid throw a temper tantrum because someone called out his imaginary friend. Grow up, dude. This is capitalism.
I've never seen an executive act like that on television. And if you're wondering, really? Yes, in the business world going, it's so unfair to short us, is the equivalent of crying. Like that, brother, it's free markets. Deal with it. Capitalism, it's a bitch sometimes. Everybody's allowed to bet long, everybody's allowed to bet short. If you're betting short, that means I think your stock value is gonna go down. That happens 50% of the time. So that's a very normal bet. When a CEO comes out and goes, oh, this is so unfair to us. Oh, you're in trouble, aren't you? That means he's really worried about that short. If the shorts work, guys, it is a huge problem for those companies. But Anna, that's all the business context, et cetera. But my favorite part was he's like, why are they doing this to such good companies? We're here at Palantir trying to spy in on all of the world, and we just helped Israel destroy Gaza. And we'd like to do that for America and the rest of the world. Why are they hurting the poor good guys?
No, it is amazing how they view themselves, right? How I genuinely think Alex Karp thinks he's a good guy and that his company is doing great things. But I want to give you a few more details about Burry's rationale for shorting Nvidia and Palantir because, and you did touch on it briefly, but I want to emphasize it because he talks about how these companies are too over-reliant on welfare, on government contracts. The other reason he gives is that executive pay for these companies is too high. I'm going to go ahead and bet that Alex Karp doesn't take kindly to anyone drawing attention to his high pay. So Burry actually wrote in his Substack that Palantir has the distinction of being the first billionaire revenue ratio greater than one that I have ever seen. Or I have seen 5 billionaires due to stock ownership and less than 4 billion in annual revenue.
And there you have it, folks. The emperor has no clothes, and Alex Karp is having a very public meltdown. It goes to show you that even the most powerful tech companies aren't immune to the cold, hard reality of the market or a piercing gaze of a legendary short seller. What do you think? Is Palantir overhauled bubble ready to burst, or is Karp just passionate? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Straight Fire Politics for more unfiltered truth, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next deep dive. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.